If you're a Cowboy fan, then you know that October brings a string of events to celebrate this school's spirit. While this week started as a celebration of America's greatest homecoming, it became a time of sorrow after a tragic event at the parade that you are all probably aware of.
Even though this became a moment the school will never forget, OSU still hosts America's greatest homecoming for a reason. The way the community came together is a perfect demonstration of the strong spirit the people of Stillwater hold.
During a time of tragedy, the fans of OSU came to form a bond of love and support. In this episode of Pete's Corner, we'll take you behind the scenes of the dedication this school gives to make this homecoming the greatest, even in a time of grief.
You'll look at homecoming hoops, the football game against the KU Jayhawks, the walk-around, and much more.
Before the events at the parade, this homecoming started off like any other.
Yeah, during the week, OSU offers 24 different events for people from the school, the state, and the world to come enjoy.
Homecoming officially started on Friday the 16th with Football Frenzy, where Kappa Delta and Farmhouse won first place. Then ended on the 24th with OSU and KU football game, where the Cowboys beat the Jayhawks.
The Harvest Carnival, the first ever OSU homecoming tradition, is what we're going to be looking at first. Here's Grant with the story.
America's greatest homecoming doesn't have 100,000 people in attendance overnight. With 96 years in the making, the Harvest Carnival sparked it all in 1913. In 1920, the Alumni Association started Homecoming Day, and it stated it wanted to be nothing short of the largest homecoming day in the Southwest. Generations later, the goal remains the same.
The Harvest Festival is held here at the Payne County Expo Center every year. Within minutes, only one canned food. It's easy to enjoy the festivities.
There's a whole lot of games for the kids. I saw a lot of the kids dressed up in costumes. That was really cute. And there's a chili cook-off, stuff like that for the community to have some fun. Just whoever wants to come out can come out and have a good time.
Stringer believes that the carnival does the best it can to provide and support the community of Stillwater.
I know it's a big part of homecoming. The big committee has a big part. Like, there's like a group for Dex and a group for the Football Frenzy. And so I know the Harvest Carnival obviously brings in a ton of cans for the community, helping families that need cans, groups that need cans, anything with canned food. So just stuff like that.
Setting up the Harvest Carnival is no easy task. With help from the Junior Service League, Harvest 2 takes months of planning, from PR relations, contacting donors, and setting up warehouses to store the food. Director Amy Parsons feels that it is more than worth it.
The hard work that they've been putting into this, the dedication, the drive, the commitment, just everything that has gone involved from OSU, and then when it reaches out to the community-wide, it's an amazing thing that comes together all in a few weeks that takes hours and hours and months to prepare for.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Grant Yoder.
First try, that was awesome.
Okay, those kids were adorable.
Yeah, especially the kid dressed up like a dinosaur cowboy. The Harvest Festival is a great way for families to spend time together and enjoy a good amount of food.
Speaking of delicious food, did someone say something about a chili cook-off?
Yeah, I think someone did. It's always in October that it gets just a little bit chilly, and Raven has a story for you about the chili cook-off.
Some people say food brings people together, and during the week of homecoming at Oklahoma State, food does just that. The Chili Cook-Off event is held every year at the Payne County Expo Center, and this year, all you needed was $3 to taste over 20 types of chili and vote for your favorite. Many on-campus organizations, as well as Greek life students and on-campus students, entered the competition to become the 2015 Chili Cook-Off winner. Shatoya Paris has been making chili for the African American Student Association for the Chili Cook-Off for the past 2 years. And the process isn't just a one-day thing.
I'll say an hour, an hour to prepare it, but to cook it, I cook it overnight. So I'll say a good 8 hours in a slow cooker.
Shatoya's stepfather taught her how to make the chili recipe, But she added a few things on her own. She says her chili is different from every other chili because of her secret ingredient.
Because most people wouldn't think to look in the section of the store for the ingredient. But me being random, I did, and it worked with it.
As students, faculty, and staff and Stillwater natives arrive, the heat is on, but there can only be one winner. Thank you. Who will it be?
One of the main reasons why OSU is America's greatest homecoming is because not only does it bring the university students and alumni together, it brings the Stillwater community together to celebrate as one big OSU family.
It's my first time coming, and I just wanted to try some chili and see which one was the best. I think Afro Ann's was the best. It wasn't too spicy. It was like just right. It was a little tangy, and that's how I like my chili.
I think by incorporating a big event within homecoming, it brings it one step above the rest of the schools.
Although the Ad Club took first place in the chili cook-off, all participants contributed to the making of OSU and America's greatest homecoming for over 125 years and counting.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Raven Walker.
So it costs $3 to get in?
That's right, only $3.
Man, I get to live my lifelong dream of being a food critic. That's pretty sweet.
Anyways, the Harvest Carnival and the Chili Cook-Off are both on Tuesdays. Then on Wednesday, the families get together in the Hester Street Paintings, where they write different messages to motivate the football team.
And on Thursday, we have Orange Ambience, where the Res Life Halls decorate their buildings.
But the party doesn't start until Friday, with Homecoming and Hoops. This is basically a giant pep rally where everyone gets together to motivate each other.
With our next story, you'll see the women's basketball team lip-syncing and the wrestling team strip-teasing. Here's Nate with the story.
Football, football, football. Yes, that's what homecoming's all about, right? For the most part, sure. But there are other sports at Oklahoma State, and what better time to showcase them than when there are so many people back on campus? Homecoming and Hoops is part of what makes OSU's homecoming the best in America. The Friday night before the football game, after the crowd at walkarounds begins to die down, everyone heads over to Gallagher-Iba Arena to catch a glimpse of the men's and women's basketball teams before their seasons start. But there is much more to this celebration than just basketball. Head football coach Mike Gundy addressed the crowd and got them fired up before the next day's game, and Greek life was also heavily involved. Awards are given out at the event for many different categories, including the Harvest Carnival and the signs on Library Lawn.
And it's just like really exciting if your sorority and fraternity wins, because everyone like goes crazy the whole time, and it's just we all come together and just cheer.
Fraternities and sororities sit in their assigned sections and get as loud and rowdy as possible, as they all try to bring home the coveted spirit points. The cheer team also put on a spectacular performance. This year's festivities also included a few surprises along the way. The women's team performed a lip-sync battle for the crowd, the wrestling team did a striptease dance, and the men's basketball team made a music video and danced with the Pomp Squad.
I really liked how the basketball team did the dance to Downtown. It really showed a different side of them, and it was nice to see them acting like normal students.
The dances are fun and all, but when it comes to homecoming and hoops, the game is the main event.
Each year, the men's and women's teams have scrimmages against each other, giving fans a chance to scout out their new favorite players for the upcoming season. The games aren't competitive, but the dunks are just as rim-rocking. Jeffrey Carroll and Devon Dillard were among players with highlight reel-worthy dunks on the night. Fans hope that plays like this will make their way into regular season games. For Pete's Corner, I'm Nate Belt.
And they thought Walk Around was all about football.
Yeah, Homecoming and Hoops is about getting people excited for the football season, but also for getting them excited about the basketball season.
You know, another big event that creates a lot of excitement is Walk Around.
Yeah, but I bet the preparation for all the decks being made takes a long time. I wonder who even plans that stuff anyways.
All I know is that it literally takes all night, and that the job is done by the students.
There are so many festivities that make OSU's homecoming unlike any other homecoming in the nation. Between the competitions and the crowd-favorite events, there's a ton of room for excitement and entertainment all week long. But what many people don't realize is exactly how much work it takes to pull off one of the biggest events in homecoming week, walk-arounds. Michael Beard is one of the many students who work all semester long pushing little pomps into chicken wire to make the best decorations possible.
It's a lot easier to talk about things than it is when you start putting it down on paper then and realize you're going to have to scratch and edit a lot of things to actually put what this is in reality.
The students finish this hard work through one of the most important nights of the fall semester, all-night pomp, where they actually stay up all night pumping the tissue paper to complete the house decks. This is more than just some decorating fun, though. For Greek houses on campus, it all leads up to the competition and the display that thousands of fans will get to see.
I dedicated my life to homecoming this semester and a lot of last semester when it all started behind the scenes.
It's with hours of work, lack of sleep, and lots of planning that turn little things like this into masterpieces like that. No wonder this brings in over 80,000 people every year. The annual walk-around event brings in all sorts of students, alumni, and fans. And what better way to enjoy homecoming than to come together as a community and look at all the extravagant house decorations.
You get to see the true OSU spirit and family come together. I mean, it's talked about for months on end about walk-arounds and everything.
So it takes more than the average OSU fan would think to put on a show like this. But in the end, the hard work that is put in behind the scenes results in the Cowboy family coming together at the widely known homecoming walk-arounds that happen every year. For Pete's Corner, I'm Allie Hill.
Did you go to walk around, Egan?
I did, and it was awesome. Corey Kent White played at the Beta House. There were plenty of food trucks and clothing vendors, and it was a great way for the people of the community to come and hang out.
But having to stay up all night to pomp sounds pretty rough. I mean, what happens to the decks once homecoming's over?
For a project that takes months to plan, they actually throw away the pomps and keep the metal for next year.
Interesting. Well, with the celebration of homecoming, it goes far beyond Greek Row, and these students will show you what it's like for homecoming without a house.
America's Greatest Homecoming is famous for America's greatest house decks. The spectacle where Greeks dedicate months of blood, sweat, and tears to produce one spectacular display. But they're not the only ones putting in labor to make OSU's homecoming America's greatest.
Whenever they think sorority, they think like Greek. And so I just think that stereotype is really sad because I think people are missing out.
Being in a house that doesn't, in a sorority that doesn't have a house is usually seen as like a negative thing, I think. People are like, oh wow, they don't have a house, this is awkward. But like for us, I feel like we have more time to focus on our flow looks better. We have more time to focus on like our board. We have more like bonding time, we're all here like hanging out in the shop.
A sorority isn't defined by brick and mortar, rather by the bonds made between its members.
You have a lot more free time. You don't have like the same level of intensity, so it's like pretty low key.
We have a lot less to do, so we get to spend a lot more time like together and kind of interacting and being able to build a float together rather than being super stressed out the whole time. It's been really great.
With the pressures of building a house deck lifted, the members of non-Panhellenic sororities and fraternities have time to fully focus on other aspects of America's greatest homecoming, like the Harvest Carnival and the Chili Cook-Off.
It has made me feel as involved as the bigger sororities, but it's just more stress-free. It's still stressful, but it's still really fun because you still get that close-knit feeling of homecoming, that you're involved in the school, but it's not as big.
You have to go out of your way to form relationships with people. You can't just show up at a house and hang out with everyone. You have to be intentional and call your friends and say, hey, who's going to be there? Because they don't all live there.
I mean, Phi Lam does everything like in regular Greek sorority, like we do service projects and we have a philanthropy and we have chapter every week. And so I don't think that you have to, a house doesn't define you as a sorority or not.
Spirit and community. That's what defines sororities and fraternities without a house. Their love for each other and OSU is one of the many things that make our homecoming America's greatest.
As you can see, all these sororities and fraternities really contribute a lot when it comes to making America's greatest homecoming. But with all the events and things going on, it's no wonder they don't get a lot of attention.
Yeah, and all the events that happened before Saturday were filled with excitement and celebration.
But instead of getting to spread this excitement on game day, the unimaginable happened. What was supposed to be the end of a great homecoming turned out to be a heartbreaking time that we will never forget.
It was all said to end America's greatest homecoming in the highest of notes.
Hi guys, we're here where all the tailgating is going on and people are having a great time. This is a party. We're playing the KU Jayhawks today, and even though we're favored to win, people are still super excited about it. The weather is kind of gloomy today and it's kind of cold, but that is not going to stop anyone from having a great time today.
The food was great and the orange was at its brightest. And then the unthinkable happened.
This is CNN Breaking News.
All right, this breaking news out of Oklahoma, where a car careened into a crowd of people watching the Oklahoma State University homecoming parade in Stillwater. The university spokeswoman says the accident happened at the corner of Hall and Fame Streets and Main Street.
Time stopped, and what was supposed to be the cherry on top of a week-long celebration became a nightmare.
It's just really sad. It just makes me want to just pack up and go home, because it's hard to be here and have joy when you know that someone else, another cowboy, is suffering.
The food and games were not important anymore, and the Spirit Walk, that is usually full of joy and music, was a silent march in honor of what, at the moment, were 3 dead and more than 30 hurt. The players were only accompanied by the cheers of the crowd, but the game was still going to be played, and everyone had to keep going.
Didn't play, we did a silent walk for just out of respect of those affected, and then right now we're looking for anything that we can do to pay our respects, but while also keeping our composure and doing our job for the day.
And then the clock hit 2:30, and a football game happened, but it was almost as if it didn't matter. The flag flew at half-mast, and the players gathered together and prayed in the field. The Cowboys ended up beating the Kansas Jayhawks by a crushing 58-10. It helped a lot. People were sad, but the team and the closeness of the stadium was able to make the situation easier.
Although tragedy struck close to home today, the atmosphere at Boone Pickens Stadium brought the Cowboy community closer together.
The sea of orange and everybody out there and everybody excited. I mean, just a good atmosphere and a good vibe. I mean, I love it. It's like no better feeling in the world. Come out there.
Oklahoma State is no stranger to tragedies. Both in 2001 and 2011, a plane crash killed members of the basketball team, and they are still remembered every year. But if one thing is true, is that the Cowboy family always bounces back.
One thing I do know about Oklahoma people, they're strong, they're compassionate, they believe in prayer, they believe in comforting people and helping during a time of crisis and need, and we'll get through this.
A vigil was held on Sunday night in honor of the now 4 dead, and the experience was surreal. Hundreds of students gathered together to pray, sing, and heal. America's Greatest Homecoming might have not ended how it was supposed to, but it did show that the Cowboy family has never been closer. For Pete's Corner, I'm Marcia Guevara.
The support from the community has been extremely helpful.
You can donate to any of the families at any of the verified GoFundMe sites if you want to donate.
As of now, there are 5 critical victims, 12 stable victims, and 30 victims who were treated and released on the scene.
There's currently a memorial set up on the sidewalk at the intersection of Hall of Fame and Main. That's not all. The Shearer Museum will also set up a memorial to remember the victims.
While the events of homecoming are being extremely prominent, the one connecting theme in all of this is the people.
The people of Stillwater are the most kind, loving, and generous people. Cowboys always stand together.
And we would like to dedicate this episode of Pete's Corner to the victims who were lost in the accidents. Remember everyone, stay Stillwater strong.